Alright, so this video, usually when I do these comic reviews, I usually have them, and it's like a good amount, so it's not 50,000 parts. But the way I'm going to go about reading these books, I just realized all I had to do was not read them. Because there's too much. And I was like, I want to give myself 22, but I wasn't factoring in the fact I'm going to have a whole week off for February vacation. Either I wasn't putting that into consideration, or I just was thinking it was a week behind or something. I don't know. But if anything, these are just kind of like not last minute, like the ones that tie me over until that next batch of books, and that's what I'm gonna treat this stack as. I think it's honestly what I treated it as before. So there you go. Actually, no, I shouldn't do that. I was gonna review the Image books. I just realized when I didn't finish. But let's get on with it. First one up, and I'm going to do this in chronological order, so you're actually getting this review after you get the review of the comics I haven't finished yet. The ones I haven't finished yet were that Batman Killing Time book and Green Arrow, Green Arrow, Green Lantern. Nope, sorry, Green Arrow, Aquaman, Deep Target. The only two I didn't finish. The first one up is Deadpool World War III Wolverine. This was okay. It's okay. One of those books that I would not have minded getting like $1 for each issue at my local comic shop. And honestly, this is 3 issues, so I wouldn't like fine with having this. This would have been the one, like when it was back in the days when I was getting floppies. Even if I paid full price, this would be the one that I'd read like again and again every now and then. Not bad, not great, just kind of okay. Kind of disjointed, and not in a good way. It's kind of like a lot was going on, and then like there was a lot going on, but there's also like you could gather what was going on, and then it's also over too quick. But it's kind of not disjointed. There's a reviewer on Goodreads who put it best. But overall, I do kind of recommend it. If you see a local library like I did, then just check it out. This was not one that was my local library. This was one that I keep thinking it was, but it was just one that just happened to be at a library that they interloaned it from. Just a usual interloan book. But I thought for whatever reason it was one they just magically had at my local library and not a materials request. I will talk about what that is in just a second here, because that's the last book. So let's keep on with. Oh my God, these are all from DC Comics. That is crazy. What a coincidence. All right, Batman. Oh wait, so no, duh. First one's Marvel. I don't know why I thought it was DC. Anyways. Batman and Robin Must Die, Volume 3. This is a reread, and just like the last 2 times, I really like this run. I purposefully skipped. I think at first I even skipped to this part in Grant Morrison's run. I want to say the first time I didn't know, and I did, and I was like, okay, I want to go back now. I want to read these first. And then I never ended up doing that, and yet again, I didn't end up doing that. And it's not because, like, Batman and Son is awful. No, from what I've read so far of it, I really, really like. But this is just like, I always want to read this first. I don't know why, that's just the way I am. Gotham Academy, Volume... Oh, actually, it's Volume 1 of the new series. So it's Gotham Academy, second semester, Volume 1. If you're going to do a new number 1, you might as well call yourself second semester issue 1, so you know that it's a sequel to what came before. Because I know some new number 1s are like a fresh start, like the Spider-Man by Nick Spencer. Other than a few things, you could start there. A few things you're gonna be confused about. They're gonna mention because it's not a complete fresh start, but enough of a fresh start to where new readers can jump in. So I understand why they go to new number 1. That's honestly, in my opinion, the only time they should go to new number 1s. This is kind of a good example, sort of, because this is Convergence, not New 52. But Wonder Woman never went back to... Wonder Woman was still issues 1 to 52. So was Batman. There's no reason not to. Actually, I think Wonder Woman was only 50 issues. I could be wrong about that, though. But this one, then going back to the actual book itself, I like this series. I didn't like it the first time I read it, and I had read the first 3 volumes, and it wasn't that long ago. But then I read it again somewhat recently, and then I really ended up enjoying it, and that's stuck throughout the entire run so far. And I don't think it's going to stop with the final volume. That's right, too. It's only one more volume of this series, too. Then we have Wonder Woman Volume 2, Guts. And like with most of the rereads, it just gets better and better with each reread. I love this run of Wonder Woman. And I will, like with the run on Batgirl, also from New 52, I will defend it till the day I die. Scalped by Jason Aaron. This is probably going to end up being in my top 5 by the end of this series. Now, it would be because a long time ago I started reading this series and it was really good, and they did not have the last 2 soft covers or even the last hardcover, which collects 2 of these. Neither do they have. I was reading the hardcovers, thought they'd have volume 5 because it's just so cost effective. It's like I'm getting through these much quicker than I would if I was getting through the soft covers. Yeah, I could check out 2 soft covers at one time, but I'm checking out a lot of books, so I don't want to do that. And that's what I was doing. They did not have the last hardcover. It's like, okay, I'll go soft cover for the last 2 volumes. They had, I think, maybe volume 9, and I think even then they didn't have it. But now with their new system, the most recent time I checked, they have all 10 volumes. And even if they don't, I'll probably just bite the bullet and go elsewhere to finish the series once and for all, because it's worth it. Might even buy that omnibus. Like, I'm honestly, like, I was thinking about that. I was thinking of it earlier today. I was doing some web surfing and I came across it on Amazon. It was like one of those sponsored or whatever the hell we call it. It's either sponsored or it was in when you go to the homepage and like you're recommended, whatever. It was one of those kinds of things. I just came across it. It's like, oh yeah, Scalped Omnibus that came out. When's Volume 2 come out? March? I might get that. I think Volume 2 is. Volume 1 is already like at $60, which honestly is what that book is worth. That book is. They could have made it into one honking omnibus. They need to split it into 2 for no reason. But I don't care because they have presumably have all 10 volumes. If they don't have all 10 volumes, I'll finish off this series myself elsewhere, and then after that buy the omnibus so I can read it whenever I want to. And even then, I'm just kind of like, even if they have all 10 volumes in my local library, I may just do that, but not anytime soon. I have way too much to get for the next few months. Definitely next month. Clean Room, Volume 2 of 3. This has just been like a crazy series. I think Gail Simone, so I was saying, I was talking about the New 52 Batgirl run, and I will talk about a lot more about that when I show it off. So I think I'm going to do another, because I have a few more books coming in, so I'll probably just do one final, here's the books I'll be reading the next few weeks, right before I actually read them. Because this, again, I want to treat this more as to tie me over between piles of books. Like, I'll have a pile of books in the library. Bad example is that this most recent read-through was all in my personal collection. But even that, it's like either some of my personal collection, I'll do that, and then I'll do, like, to tie me over, I'll check out, like, a few more books in my local library, and while I wait for the other books to come in, I'll finish those up by the time those last few books come in, and then I'll do that. That didn't happen this time around. In fact, I've had these books for a while now, and I probably should just renew them. But I'm kind of behind. But thankfully, I can just renew them. The only concern is they have 2 systems. Their first system, you cannot renew them right off the website. I have to email the librarian. No problem to doing that. She knows my story. She knows how I am. She knows that I just need to renew them a couple more times, and then bing, bang, boom. And luckily, the majority of the books I check out from the library are not brand spanking new books. Thus, they don't need to go back to the library. It's not like, oh, it can't be renewed, it's too new. No, they should have no problem with that. Anyways, back to Clean Room. So Clean Room, I was talking, about Batgirl several times, but the New 52 run, when I show it off, the most recent volume, which I did the last volume of Gail Simone's run, and then when I review it yet again, for the 7 billionth time. And I will talk about how Gail Simone's run gets a bad flack. Now, I was wrong. Apparently, she was fired for, like, a good reason, I guess. Like, she was being, like, kind of bitchy online. But I swear to God, I'm probably just thinking of the Brendan Fletcher run. But there was something with the crazies on Twitter were going after her. And she had to pull back. And she got fired from DC, and thus her run got canceled prematurely. And then Brendan Fletcher came along. Okay. Then Brendan Fletcher came along to completely ruin what Gail Simone had started. And you'll get to know all about that when I actually bite the bullet and get on Brendan Fletcher's run in order to get to Hope Larson's run on Rebirth. But basically, I think Gail Simone gets a lot of flack for her writing. For the person who she is herself, that's way over there. We're talking about her writing. And nowhere is this more present. Nowhere is this the best argument for her actually being a pretty damn good writer than with Clean Room. A series that honestly is keeping me guessing. Batgirl, it did here and there, but Clean Room, it's like completely do not know what's going on. It's what's going to happen next, and there's a lot of surprises, and it's really crazy. It's also one of those books that I really, really do regret, makes me kind of regret doing the reading the way I'm doing the reading. And to explain that, I'm going to go off in another little tangent. So, the piles of books. Back then, it was anything. Oh, Tom Taylor's DC, let's grab that one. Clean Room, let's grab that one. Batgirl by Gail Simone, let's grab that one. Scalp by Jason Aaron, let's grab that one. Robert Venditti, whatever the hell he's written, this Hawkman, let's grab that one. Green Lantern Corps by Robert Venditti, let's grab that one too. Sam Humphries' Green Lanterns, let's grab that one. It was just a grab bag. But now they go by certain themes. This theme, this like most recent, the books I'll be showing off, and all these books here, I have these guys' Image Comics work. Now, why Image Comics specifically? Well, you saw my most recent comic haul. They're damn good. They have damn good pricing, and damn good quality. It's literally quantity over quality, but quality over quality. In the sense of you can get a bunch of Image Comics for the same price. You can get like the stack of Image Comics and a stack of Dark Horse books, and stack is this big for Dark Horse and this big for Image. And because Dark Horse is just really expensive. I was looking at a book that, because sometimes I'll just get a phrase, a word, a set of words just stuck in my head. I don't know what that says about me, but I was thinking, Manor Black, where have I heard of Manor Black before? And I wasn't like reading something and they said Manor Black or anything like that. It just came to me out of nowhere. Completely out of nowhere. And I looked it up. It's like, oh, Manor Black. Oh, yeah, it's a Cullen Bunn book, Dark Horse. Oh my god, it's $19.99, and the book is only 136 pages. It only collects 4 or 5 issues. From Image Comics, their dead set price for trades, trade like this big, is $16.99. Sometimes $14.99. And Dark Horse has some damn good books. I do want to read Manor Black. And if they have it at the library, I will pick it up there. They have a sale on it. I'll read it there. And Dark Horse, their omnibuses are pretty good, fairly priced. Harrow County by Cullen Bunn, I remember being really surprised how cheap that was to buy. But I think even Image Comics has them beat with their collected editions overall. The thicker ones are if you compare it to other publishers like Marvel and DC and maybe even Dark Horse, Image Comics has them all beat. And I'm not just saying I know if I wanted to really do that, I could just go AWA Studios and get Studios and get their comics. Their comics are $9.99 per volume. No matter how many volumes of a series there are, it's always gonna be it's their dead set price. I'll probably do that after I get all the Image books I need, whenever that happens. But Image just has all the best books in my opinion. Dark Horse has good books too. All the other publishers have damn good books. In fact, now I'll keep saying this. Hopefully I remember to say this, that Vault Comics has I Walk the Monsters I really liked. So I'd not it was just kind of a decision I made back then, back in 2022, and since I've not looked back. So Gail Simone, she has written for Image Comics. Jason Aaron, most recently really writing a series for Image, but he still he's written a bunch of other stuff. One of which I'll be reviewing pretty soon here, and that's The Other Side. Brian Azzarello has written something for Image. That's the theme for this time around. The next time I check out books, it will be the miscellaneous books. The books that are from Robert Venditti and Tom Taylor and other writers who have not written anything for Image. Now there will be one I am checking out that he does have work for Image, and that's if I even get that book. but he's just done stuff with Darkness and like old stuff that you can't really find anywhere anyways. So it's not gonna be like on Amazon or anything for a fair price. Anyways, super long tangent over. I should really think about doing the tangents afterwards, but sometimes like with a clean room, like I had to go on that Gail Simone tangent. But like for that most recent tangent, the Image Comics big stack and what's not, what is and what isn't, I could have waited until I ended the video because I just got one more book to review and this is already okay. 15 minutes is not that long for this stack of books. When you take that into consideration, Batman Fortress, it's good. I do understand people didn't like it. The stuff in the beginning, I will admit, this most recent time around, I did fully understand what they were saying. I always did, but even more so. Now, this is not a huge spoiler because it happens very, very early on in the series, but the whole, and you can probably tell from this title, but Superman is gone and there's a blackout. And the blackout is caused due to whatever. That's kind of the whole mystery of the book. They don't know where Superman is, and they need to figure out who's behind all this blackout. And with the blackout comes riots. And there's these people rioting, they're looting, and the people that are looting, Batman looks at them, he says, they're not my problem. My problem is the guys who are holding people hostage and killing people for no reason other than they're crazy. And that, on the surface level, is a good way of showing how Batman is a flawed character, but still is Batman. Like, it's kind of like he's a flawed character because he can't do everything at once, so he has to kind of go for what's the biggest threat to Gotham. But looting is also a threat to Gotham because but people say was that it's Gary Whitta saying screw the rich man, and I don't think it was that. But it's also another thing they were saying was that he was still it was kind of a coward's way out, and yeah, because why doesn't he just go after this guy who's holding this woman hostage and trying to kill his family because he's crazy, and then subdue him and then go after the people who are looting? That's a great argument, and that was kind of what I was thinking about a lot when I was reading this the most recent time. Because again, with context is the best thing for arguments like that, and that's why I think people should not avoid comics like this. To avoid a comic just because of that one reason is, first of all, really stupid, but second of all, I think people should read it or look more into it. At the very least, look more into it so they get all the context, so they can make their own decisions on whether or not this guy is over-exaggerating or not. I don't think he is, but I also think that he is, but I think, because I remember the video, I think I watched it I watched it most recently. The most recent time I read this, before this most recent time, it's like the second most recent time I read this, I watched that video. I think Critical is who it is. And he had said, I believe he had said two things. The first thing he was saying was screw the rich man, but he was also saying it was a way of showing how Batman is kind of, not necessarily a coward, but how he's not going to go after that guy at all, and that's not the best, that's kind of showing how Gary Whitta does not understand who Batman is. And I would argue that there is merit in what he's saying again, but also with context, maybe not. And he obviously did read the comic. I can tell he read the comic. It's not one of those things where I'm like, did you read the book? No, it's just his opinion. And I understand where he's coming from. And I do have a lot of those. Again, this most recent read through, I did have a lot of those same problems with the book. Because even then, even you say, like I was saying before, even if you say, it makes Batman a flawed character, sure, but he's wasted talking about that looter. But with the blackout, there's a lot going on, and he can't do everything at once. And even then, it was, because again, let's think about this a lot, most recent read-through. And even then, I was like, well, he goes after this guy, then this guy, then that guy, and that guy, and it's a whole bunch of stuff that keeps happening to the point where we kind of forget about the looters. And I think, and I hope, that all Gary Whitta was trying to show was that, unfortunately, Batman cannot be everywhere at once. And it was a way of showing him how Batman is a human being. He's not Superman, where Superman can just fly really quickly, throw this guy to the side, throw him in the jail cell from there. There's a cartoon, and then go to the other to looters and tie him up in the police do not cross, that stuff, or just whatever. I don't know why I said that specifically, but you get the point. I think that's all he was trying to say. All Gary Whitta was trying to say. Because other than that, and then even then, if Gary Whitta was saying "screw the rich man," that is a very small part in this book. There are a few other things, like Lex Luthor is written to be like even more one note than he usually is, in my opinion. Still enjoyable. It's like he's almost enjoyably bad. Like it's like, oh, he's gonna say next, like kind of like that thing. And even then, he's a villain, and more just like you can tell Gary Whitta is trying to say something with Lex Luthor. But even then, it's a small thing. Like, without giving too much away, while Lex Luthor is a prominent figure in the book, he's not featured too much. It's not constantly Lex Luthor. It's not like an entire issue that he's front and center. He's more just like a side character. Prominent enough in the issue to be coined as a side character in the book itself, but it's not like it's constant. Like it's like beating you over the head with it, is what I'm trying to say. So all in all, I do recommend Batman Fortress. It's that book that keeps coming to. Like I read this book, I want to say like 2 months ago, and I was reading this and I was like, has it been too recent? There's an argument for reading books this recently, and I was reading through and I was like, no, I'm kind of glad I read this again. And that, as I say, is that. 21 minutes long for going over how many books? Like, what, 6? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This should have been 15 minutes long. But my tangents, honestly, that's pretty good for me going off of tangents and me reviewing 7 comics. Where I want to say, for reviewing comics, I do 2 minutes on average. Sometimes it's 1 minute, sometimes it's 30 seconds, but for the most part, I would say that's 2 minutes on average. And sometimes it's more than 2 minutes. Sometimes, like with Batman Fortress, I do have a lot to talk about. Deadpool, Wolverine, World War III, I was like, yeah, it's a good book. I mean, that'd be that book I read a lot when I was getting floppies back then. I was just buying to buy floppies, And it's my clean room. I want to talk about Gail Simone, the controversies behind her. Because I know I've explained this plenty of times, the whole Gail Simone thing, and my thoughts on her Batgirl run and all that, and my thoughts on Brendan Fletcher's Batman run, Batgirl run. Gail Simone's Batgirl run and Brendan Fletcher's continuation of Gail Simone's Batgirl run. I have gone on that tangent so many times on this channel here, even recently, but I treat every video as everyone's first video, and that's why I really need to get better at like summarizing. The Gail Simone thing I will never summarize. I think I've hit that nail on the coffin. It's the image pile versus the non-image pile, and I had a perfect way of explaining it, and I should have written it down as I was saying it, because that would, in order to record myself saying it. And I kept my voice memos, because I didn't know which video it was, and I just kept my voice memos, and I practiced it, so I got it in my head. Like the whole of the rereads, how like the rereads, the 3 criteria of rereads is, I liked it every 6 month rule, like with Batman Fortress, giving it a second chance and actually liking it, like the Gotham Academy, or playing catch up to finally finish the series, like with Scalped. So that I have locked into my memory. My top 5 I have locked into my memory. It is Preacher, bad example, I'm stuttering, Sin City, Wicked and Divine, Paper Girls, and honestly, Scalp, we won't count Scalps, we will say Walking Dead. In no particular order. So in particular order, it'd be Preacher, Sin City, Walking Dead, Wicked and Divine, Paper Girls. Notice how 3 of those are from Image Comics. That's another thing. And just indie publishers in general is my forte. So Image is like the ultimate indie publisher, in my opinion. When most people think of indie publishers, super comic fans like me, like myself, they think of Image Comics. They were pretty much the first. Although I think Dark Horse. Why do I think Dark Horse was the first? I think Hellboy, didn't that start in 1988? Or I keep getting that wrong. I know one started earlier, and I was surprised to find that out. But Image was one that got the ball rolling, and just Like got the ball rolling, bowling, and hit a home run. Got the ball rolling and got a 10, got a strike. There you go. Which hopefully never happens. That would have been a bad omen. If I Did I predict the future?